The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode.
Summer, summer, summer of 86 at 40.
It's once again Friday, and that means it is time for the Summer of 86 at 40 music video companion series, where each week a guest and I take a look at a song and artist with their music video from the Casey Kasem American Top 40, which we go over a little bit on the Monday episode. And finishing out his run as the premier guest here on Summer of 86 at 40 music video companion series, we have the writer, actor, comedian, musician, the guy who brought you I Had a Bloody Good Time at House Harker, as well as all your fun 90s rock alternative reels, TikToks, and more that you love and go, oh crap, that guy, he's all over my feed. It's Jacob Givens.
Thanks, Brandon. Good to be back for my last time, summer of 2026, doing the summer of 86. It's been a great time, and I'm happy that I'm back, and I'm here to finish strong.
You made it all the way.
All the way through.
We had that questionable time when we had to renegotiate, but you did it.
We did. It was very tense.
I caved.
Yeah. You know what? I negotiate hard, man. That's how it works with me.
There we go. Okay, but as we do at the top of these, the movies we talked about on the Monday episode, here we go. Okay. A Fine Mess.
I don't recognize it.
It's a Blake Edwards movie starring Ted Danson and Howie Mandel.
Okay, that's definitely, I've said this every single one of your episodes so far. I can almost see the VHS cover in my mind.
Okay.
And the fact that it's Blake Edwards means it's probably pretty great because he was a great, comedic director.
It also has 80s great Maria Conchita Alonso.
Well, look at that.
So, yeah, we're not at the point when we're recording this. I haven't recorded this episode of that series yet. So
gotcha.
I'm like, all right. So I haven't watched it yet. The next one is She's Gotta Have It.
She's Gotta Have It. I know that title, but I'm drawing a blank as to who's in this.
It is Spike Lee's first movie.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Which sadly, I don't think I've ever seen She's Gotta Have It.
Oh, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You'll see it and be like, oh, this is where Linklater and Kevin Smith got their stuff from.
No, I see.
It's very much Slacker. It's very much Clerks. So
got it.
There's that.
Got it.
So, and Kevin Smith has credited his whole way through his career that he saw She's Gotta Have It. It inspired him that he could make Clerks.
Got it. Cool. Good to know. I'll definitely
black
watch that
and white
film.
as well. So it's
black and white film.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Then we got Transformers, the movie.
Oh my gosh, a film that single-handedly killed a franchise, as we all know, because there's nothing that small children love more than the death of a hero.
I cried at this movie. I cried.
Of course.
I cried. All just to be like, oh, we thought kids would want a whole new line of toys.
They just didn't think it through. And I think that maybe today that rationale might work because I think that today's children are used to much more, given Stranger Things and things like that. They're given storylines that are pretty like, oh, holy shit. But not in 1986. We were not
everything
ready.
Comes back from the dead too in their time too nowadays too. So they'd be like, oh, they'll bring him back because this and then in episode 5 he said this, so that's got to be the. What do you mean he didn't bring him back? But I remember, and just watching that scene, it's still just brutal. Like he's on like he's like on a slab, and he's just like, and he turns gray. Like
we were not ready for that.
Fuck.
Come on, guys. Come on. Scarred for life.
I mean, it scared it so much that like G.I. Joe wrote back that because they were going to kill off Duke in it, and they were like, oh, nope.
Yeah.
They changed it. So I mentioned My Little Pony, the movie, on one of our previous ones. So the combo of that and Transformers bombing put G.I. Joe, the movie, straight to VHS, and then Gem and the Holograms, the movie, canceled.
Right.
So
I remember hearing about this because the ride of toys to the screen,
Mhm.
from Care Bears to the Pound Puppies and Strawberry
Yeah.
Shortcake. This rise up, it had a quick decline, and it really has to do with this movie because it
Yeah.
really changes spending a lot of money on an animation feature and saying, "Uh-oh, it's not going to go our way."
Right. Yeah. Crazy enough. And our last movie is One Crazy Summer.
Classic John Cusack film. This and Better Off Dead is the
Yep.
1-2 punch. I love this movie. It drives me crazy that Mr. Cusack does not like this film and he doesn't stand behind it because it's great. I love it. You've got a young Demi Moore. It is amazing. The
Yeah, well,
cartoon stuff. Come
it's
on.
weird. I just gotta like, what happened that he doesn't care for Better Off Dead and One Crazy Summer, and those are Better Off Dead was a classic in my house growing up. Like
Absolutely a classic.
And I'm like, oh, if I ever met him, I couldn't bring this up. That'd be
I
a
know.
bad idea.
I know.
Like,
I know.
damn.
It's like he's got it there, and this often happened with like stars that got famous when they were young kids. They grew to resent the thing that got them the fame, right? And it was like, I wish he could just come to grips with. It's not a tour de force, John. We know that. It's all about what it means to us when we were growing up, and it was silly and it was off the wall. But
Mhm.
I love One Crazy Summer
Yeah.
and Better Off Dead. Both
Yeah,
of them. Great,
this
great
is the
movie.
victory lap of Better Off Dead, basically. Like,
For
everybody's
sure.
back. Got Curtis Booger.
Yeah, Curtis Armstrong.
Curtis Armstrong. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yep.
he's back, and yeah. But yeah, very cool movie. Our song this week is Nothin At All, the penultimate single from the self-titled 8th album by Heart. Climbed as high as number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 6 on the mainstream rock chart. The album it was from hit number 1 and went 5 times platinum, producing other hits such as What About Love, Never, These Dreams, and If Looks Could Kill. So it looks like we have a 5-single album going here.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So yeah, so thoughts on Heart and this song?
Of my run, the fact that this is the last one, I can say this was the one I was the least familiar with. I know my Heart in terms of Barracuda and What About Love and some of the other ones you listed.
Yeah.
But even as I watched this video, I was like, I don't really recall hearing this. And if I did, it was very vague. It's not a bad song, but I don't think the video's that great either. I was very underwhelmed in terms of they are such a legendary, duo, and I was like,
Yeah. It like it, I think it's just a testament. Like, maybe we were just not in the vibe of the time when it came out, but
Maybe
like
so.
I feel like maybe just Heart was that popular that they could put something out and people were like, I want to listen
I'm
to
in.
Heart.
Yeah.
I'm in. The song was like, yeah, I don't remember I don't remember this one.
Don't remember. Their hair looked amazing. They looked
Yeah.
beautiful. It was like a mansion. We were on stairways, cutting from scene to scene. But overall, I was like I don't know this song. I don't know it.
Yeah, this is not. I was curious. I wanted to like cover Heart in this of all this song because there's a thing when I'm going through these and because there's a lot of songs, a lot of music videos, and I go through them all to come up with
Wow.
the 16 I'm going to use for
Wow.
the series because I go with
Right.
the top 10 from the Casey Kasem because there's a lot of people like this came out and I'm like it was number 15 as this series going. I'm only going with the 10. I'm not going
Right.
for the whole 40 except for one year I did cheat because Britney Spears' Toxic was just bumped out of the top 10
Yeah.
by the time I started. I'm like, nope, we're starting with Toxic
I love
when
it.
we did 04. So my show, my rules. And sometimes I picked a soundtrack song because it had a more interesting video. That's the thing. Some of these, great song, video, bleh. Like,
Right.
it's like, no, not interesting, not a hit. Like, and I like to vary up the music. I can't have just like all what dudes listen to, and I like the genres to mix up, and I like the genders and everything to, I want a good healthy balance of what everyone was listening to over the
Yeah.
summer, and like, I like our first 2 weeks, Van Halen, Whitney Houston, like does
Right.
not, same people weren't listening to those. Well, some
Right.
might, but yeah. So I was like, well, Heart, that interesting to talk about. And this music video actually attempts to do something, but yeah. I funny story about Heart. I've never seen Heart in concert, but incidentally, I went to Farm Aid in 2023, and they had a surprise performance by the Jim Irsay Band, the now deceased owner of the Colts. He donated like a ton of money to Farm Aid, and so they were letting him play. And his band I think it had Kenny Wayne Shepherd in it, and then Ann Wilson from Heart came out.
There you go.
And she sang. They did "Love Reign Over Me" and "Barracuda" with the Jim Irsay Band.
She still got it?
She still got it. She could still belt it out.
She's got it. She always had a great voice.
She was the best part because Jim Irsay left the stage at that point, and so he was done singing. He absolutely destroyed a Pink Floyd song. It was oh gosh, I can't remember.
Wish You Were Here.
No.
Money.
Trying to rack my brain.
Comfortably Numb.
Yes, that was it. Comfortably Numb. Yep, that's what he.
There we go.
That's what he's saying, and I was like, oh man. But she came out, crushed it.
Awesome.
But that's the most Heart I've
But you got to see Ann Wilson sing.
Just like funny thing is, we're both 90s alternative. Like I never never got to see Stone Temple Pilots, but I saw Scott Weiland and the Wildabouts.
Okay.
A few years before, it was like a year or two before he passed away. But that's
something.
the closest.
Got to see.
I mean, it was not the greatest. Like he was definitely. I wasn't surprised when
struggling.
Yeah. Like he showed
struggling.
up. It started an hour late. I've never seen someone get booed as they were taking the stage because he was so late. And then, but the thing with him was between songs. But man, songs start on it perfect. Great front man.
Great singer, great performer.
He could it would if the music was playing and he was performing, perfect. But if he had to speak between songs and all that, it was
forget about it.
Oh yeah. But yeah,
I'm lucky. I got to see the OG SDP. I saw them in '93, so that was my first concert I went to.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I had in high school they came to my city where I live, but I was it was like during like a spring break, and I was on a trip with my family. Couldn't go. Then they came here in Indianapolis during a Final Four weekend one time, and I couldn't go. So it was a free concert too. So
you saw Weiland. You did see Weiland.
I saw Weiland, and it was just like, my one friend left before it was even over. He was just so mad. Like it was just like I was like, oh man. All right. So, but we're talking about Heart.
Talking about Heart.
So this video is them at like this, I don't know, the apartment building from Blade Runner before it became decrepit, and
definitely
the two women, Ann Wilson and the other one,
Nancy,
she's trying on I put my notes like trying on clothes to do her solo, because right when she finds the outfit, it goes to her playing the solo, because there's like the band just playing, and it's got one of the famous 80s tropes of we don't want to bring the whole drum set onto the stage, so we'll just have you playing on a rail and the wall, and everybody's around. There's like a cougar walking around.
They
panther.
Loved that back then. They loved that. Just
exotic animal. Just
get a big cat out here, and it'll make this go through the roof. And she's playing her guitar solo on the top of the stair, while another guitar player is playing an alternate part to the guitar at the bottom of the stair. And I was like, wait a second, who's this guy? And I looked it up, and I was like, oh, apparently that's the guitar player from Survivor who's doing the little he's doing a little cameo solo guitar duel battle in this video. And I thought, fun fact for your audience.
There we go. Survivor, which we did Eye of the Tiger back in summer of '82, tying it all back.
And Big Cats.
Which was not supposed to be the song for Rocky 3. It was supposed to be he asked Queen for Another One Bites the Dust, and they said no.
Wow.
And so he hired out Survivor to write a song for the movie, and all has changed. So,
Well, I got to say, honestly, I'm a huge Queen fan, but I think I have the Tigers way better because for that movie because it's triumphant.
yeah.
I feel like I could overcome and fight anything. Another one bites the dust. Nah,
You
doesn't
already
make me.
associated that with like a hit in
Yeah,
something before. Survivor, Eye of the Tiger, you always think of Rocky.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's what
It was the right
you
call.
should have won it. Yeah, it was a good job, Freddie and company, for declining Stallone
Yeah.
on that one. So this one, the director is Marty Callner. Does concerts videos or for Aerosmith, Paul Simon, Diana Ross, Stevie Nicks, Pat Benatar, Hall & Oates, and Sync. And then comedy specials did George Carlin, Robin Williams, George Lopez, Dane Cook, and then did
Wow.
2011's The Pee Wee Herman Show on Broadway.
Wow.
Now, music videos, where it gets there's a little interesting twist to this. Scorpions, Twisted, Sister, Pat Benatar again, Heart, more of their videos, Belinda Carlisle, Whitesnake, Poison, Cher, Cranberries, Britney Spears, and here's the thing, plenty of Aerosmith videos, including Crying, Amazing, and Crazy.
No way.
So this person gave us Alicia Silverstone.
Yes, and basically the trilogy of '90s Aerosmith videos that we never knew what the hell the story was, but we got Alicia Silverstone and Liv Tyler.
Yeah, and Liv Tyler. But yeah, there was because Crying was the video that everybody was like, "Who this girl?" And then in Amazing, there's a guy with a VR setup, and he like
Jason London.
Yeah, Jason. Yeah, it was Jason London.
London.
And he VRs with the girl from Crying.
Yep.
And then the next one, the girl from Crying and the daughter of the singer are going
crazy town.
Going crazy. And Alicia Silverstone was born. She was like,
yeah.
I mean, close to this recording, did a commentary for Clueless for Out Now with Aaron and Abe. And it was like, yeah, she was this was like that, like she had been in movies before, but Clueless was her like, look, it's the girl from the videos talking and doing, she's an actor too. Who knew?
Yeah.
But she had Hideaway before that, which was not really boasted on her being in it. And she had she had the one with Carrie Elways too, but it was kind of like not everybody was going to those movies. That was the one where we're capitalizing on her Aerosmith success because she was the Aerosmith girl. That was like, you had Rebecca Gayheart was the Noxzema girl, and then you had the Aerosmith girl. That's how we labeled them with the product
100%
or whatever. But
we forgave the fact that 3 songs had very similar sounds and choruses, and maybe the songs were just okay because every teenage boy in the world was like, "I'll watch this video as many times as I gotta."
Yeah. It's funny when I'm a gigantic Aerosmith fan. Like I loved their music. I grew up in the wrong time apparently, but Get a Grip was an album that everybody had to have. You were just, this album.
Totally.
And it wasn't till, and I always told them, they always got called like the poor man's Stones. And I've like really, other than Steven Tyler and Mick Jagger having big mouths, I never really heard of
I don't see that at all. And Aerosmith are amazing.
And haha, like the song.
Exactly.
So I was sitting with my friend Rain when I lived in Los Angeles. I believe I was back in my smoker days when I was smoking cigarettes outside, and we were talking about music. And he's like, and he was a musician and everything, and he's rock band and everything, and we were in the same stuff. He's like, I just have to realize that Aerosmith's never in my lifetime. Aerosmith's never going to release a good album. I was like, what? What about like? And
you're crazy.
There you go. Haha, there you go.
Gonna do it over and over again.
As I was crying.
There we go. We had to hit it 3 times.
Thinking I was living on the edge, but I had missed the wave of Aerosmith. But like he was basically like, yeah, they had the 70s, they ruled, and then they just something happened in the 80s, and they went to pop music, and I was like, oh, I liked Love in an Elevator, and I liked so. Doesn't everybody go like this when Angel plays? No, apparently not him, but. I get it. There's a shift when, but Aerosmith managed to stay alive for so many decades in relevance. You either, people fall off, like there's like the Coldplay thing. Like they've been around because they jumped on trends, and more power to them. They did that. They still have fans. They're still they have a big audience, but like, that's one thing bands like Sugar Ray had a moment where like, we're not a heavy metal hardcore punk band anymore. we're gonna go for this, which tricked the fuck out of me because I had
Yeah.
lemonade and brownies. I heard Fly, I saw Floored, but I was like, I bet this is a heavier band than that. And I was like, oh, and then I went back and discovered the other one. And then when they did the 1459, I'm like, oh, they're doing it again. And I was like,
Yes.
oh, nope, they went full on. They went full on into this.
Decided to just embrace it. Embrace
Not
it.
not bad stuff, but it
No,
wasn't what I was accustomed to.
it's different. And this is a perfect bookend for our summer because
Yeah.
if you remember Van Halen to Van Hagar, it's just a decision that's made
Yes.
because Aerosmith in the 70s is weed smoking, lava lamps, party all
Yep.
night, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And there are some bands that try to sustain it, and a lot of times it kills them. You know, they
Yeah.
can't take, you know, the Zeppelins of the world, you
Mhm.
party and then you just fall apart. But Aerosmith were wild and young and free. And then enough time in the music business, you start to go like, well, I'd like this to keep going. I
Yeah.
would like to continue to play around the world. And I'm a damn good songwriter. So it's the same thing that happened with Van Halen. And I think that Aerosmith actually was able to make it last a lot longer
Yeah.
than Halen did.
I'm thinking of a band right now that maybe never did that, but they were always. Would you say U2 stayed the same, start to
Yeah.
finish? They always
Yeah.
just were them.
Yeah, I think that you can say the only thing that happened with them because I love you two and they get a
Yeah.
lot of shit.
Oh, because
You know what I mean?
when you get to a popularity point, everybody
Right.
hates. Like that's the thing. You're not edgy. You're not cool. The only thing I can see from them is the discotheque, but that was them experimenting and not being like. But they weren't going on any trend with that. It was like,
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Him being outspoken about politics and activism, he was like
Mhm.
that in 1982
Yeah.
with war.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was doing that stuff early on. And so even into the 2000s when he would be very vocal and if people would get annoyed, I was like, this is Bono, you guys. This is
Mhm.
like what he does. And this is, you know, so yeah, I'd say U2 is pretty consistent from start to finish, despite a few experimental things along the way. Yeah.
Right. Right. Um. Yeah. That's probably the one that I could think of them like I've never really they were called sellouts from the start so
Yeah.
maybe, they were like and I mean because like they got mentioned on Saved by the Bell so of course even though we're all watching uncool band now the kids on Saved by the Bell listen to them but they
Totally.
also listen to Pearl Jam
That's right.
Pearl Jam
That's right.
so
You know, the public's decision as to who survives the coolness battles is a mystery
yeah
because it's just like the zeitgeist just decides all of a sudden, oh, by the way, we hate this now. And some of us sit back and go like, we do. Why do
What?
we hate it? But you can't fight against what happens.
yeah that's the thing I'll bring it back to Heart real quick here to
Yeah.
wrap us
Sorry,
up.
I feel like we didn't talk much
No,
about art.
We did. I mean, this is kind of a weird spot in their foot. Now I don't know how many more years of relevancy they have after this because, I mean, they're still around. They still have been around doing like casino tours and stuff like that. So that's still something or whatever. But back in the day when I was in college, I worked at Circuit City and I worked in the DVD and music section, which baffled them that that's where I wanted to be and I didn't want to move on to big screens or computers and I was like no this is my baby I take care like no one cared about the organization of it I organized the shit out of it I did I challenged their genreing of movies because Bring It On was action thriller because I'm like there's some prude there that's a square I'm going to use old language that's sitting there just looking at titles guessing the genre
For
I'm
sure.
like, Bring It On, and they kept going. That needs to go. You got it in the wrong spot, Bram. Like, it is not going in
It's not going to
action thriller.
action.
It's going
No.
in the fucking comedy because that's where
Yeah.
someone's going to be looking for it at.
That's what it is.
And then I'd find movies that they were keeping in the back, like because I took it over. Like I went over there, and then I'm like, why is this not on the floor? This is like it was like Criterion movies just sitting there in a box, and I'm like, why aren't these out on the? I don't know. And there's like okay, so I fixed it. But there was one day where an older man was like, "Excuse me," I'm like, "Yeah." I'm looking for a particular song on an album, and I'm like, "Okay." Well, he's like, "It's the girl singing it or whatever." I'm like, "Well, do you know what the song title is?" I don't. And I'm like, "Okay." Did You don't know the band? No, no. I'm like, okay. Is it older? Is it new? He's like, well, it might be newer. And this is early 2000s. So
Right,
I'm like,
right.
all right, all right. I was like, okay, can you tell me the lyrics? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, okay. It goes, try to understand. Try to understand. He's the magic man. I was like, all right, that's Heart. Let's go over
That's
here. I'm like,
Heart.
here's the album it's on. Here's the greatest hits. Whatever. I was like, you
Wow.
might want to go with the greatest hits. You don't seem like
Yeah.
an album guy.
You don't need those deep cuts. You just need
Yeah.
the hit songs.
But the way I'll never forget the way he was like very serious and
So
almost like
serious.
it wasn't slam poetry, but he was
Yeah.
reading it dramatic. He was giving me the dramatic version. And I'm like, all right, that's good.
That's amazing.
That's good.
That's
for Heart.
amazing. The one thing I will say about Heart before um is that this is 86, and as I was looking up because I was trying to get anything to add,
Yeah.
but I was like, so Nancy Wilson is dating Cameron Crowe in the early 80s, and in 1986, this time when this song is going around, she's marrying him. They marry.
Okay.
So the exciting thing, I guess, for me that links to my world is
Yeah.
that only about 2 years later, Nancy and Cameron will start cruising around Seattle and watching bands like Alice in Chains and
Yeah.
Soundgarden, and that will begin the journey of making singles, which takes several years to get out, and it completely changes the game in terms of that music genre. So I thought that was kind of cool just to envision. I was like, oh, it's 86. This is when they get married. So
That is awesome. Nice foot because he still hasn't made Say Anything yet either.
yeah,
Comes
he
right
hasn't
at
made
the-
Say
and
Anything.
It's
Yeah.
a couple years away from that. So yeah, and that singles, where people show you're like, oh my gosh, it's Eddie
Yeah.
Vedder. It's
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
oh.
Comes out in 91, but I think he was done with it an entire year prior, maybe year and a half, and the studio didn't want to release it. And it wasn't until, or I mean, they were hesitant to release it. And it wasn't until the grunge explosion they were like, all right, we got a cash grab right here. But
Right.
the fact that Cameron Crowe is filming stuff about that music scene in 89, 88, 89 just goes to show he was ahead of all of us.
When
So.
it the genuine article rather before
not
it
a
became
trend.
commercialized. Yeah.
Right.
So very cool. So all right, well I appreciate your adventure with me here through the summer of '86 music videos that we've covered. Definitely I'd love to have you back if you're willing to come. But until then, where can people keep up with you?
Well,
the remainder.
Where do they go find me now? You can find me. My first name is Jacob. My last name is Givens, and that's GIV as in Victor, ENS. And you can find me just about on any social media application. Just search for that name, and you'll find my silly face making videos about 90s music and sometimes other categories as well. And then I have that film, I Had a Bloody Good Time at House Harker, which is on Amazon Prime and Plex. And I want to say, Brandon, we've spent so much time together this summer that now I feel like we're really close friends. So I feel like we got to hang out more often now.
We should definitely hang out more often. I'm down for that. We
Awesome.
shall hang. Also, I am on the socials at Brandon 4K UHD. Subscribe to the YouTube channel where you can watch. Like if you're like, I need more than just these two guys talking to my ear. I need to see their expressions as they talk, hand motions, everything else. Check out the YouTube channel where you can also check out my 4K Blu-ray and DVD reviews. I believe I still have Long Island Who coming up. I'm not sure where we're falling on the calendar right now. I didn't quite check it out, but you can check me out there. I will also be a part of Doctoberfest this October. You can check me there. I may have something else come up, but we're recording early, so check my socials and stuff. And as always, you can pick up fantastic Celebration of Fans Discovering Doctor Who from Zeppo Publishing or anywhere you can get books. And also Doctor Who, Doctor on Display, the USA Tour from Real Time Pictures, which I did some shooting and stuff for. Second unit wise, is now available from Real Time Pictures. You can buy a copy on DVD or digital at timetraveltv.com. All right, so Aaron, Scott, and I return once more for Summer of '86 at 4:40 on Monday. Till then, stay film positive.
Summer of '86 at 40.